Welcome to Radquarters. Today we'll be talking about ultrasound of choledocholithiasis, or common bile duct stones. I'm Dr. Dan Koval. This episode is sponsored by Samsung Ultrasound. The beautiful images that you're about to see were obtained on a Samsung RS-85 Prestige ultrasound unit. I'm going to show you a few examples of choledocholithiasis, and I'll review key teaching points throughout. Let's start with this case. This was a female patient in her 30s presenting with a history of abdominal pain and clinical question of cholecystitis, or gallbladder inflammation. And we can see that there are some stones in the gallbladder with some post-acoustic shadowing here, and then there's some surrounding gallbladder sludge. But do you notice anything else outside of the gallbladder? Well, we see these dilated tubular anechoic structures in the liver. Let's look at that more closely. We can notice that these are branching dilated tubular cystic structures. The main question here, are these dilated intrahepatic bile ducts or vessels? When we add color Doppler, note that the majority of these structures are not showing color Doppler flow consistent with dilated ducts. So in the setting of intrahepatic biliary ductal dilatation, we want to evaluate to see if there's any extrahepatic biliary ductal dilatation. And moving to the common hepatic duct, common bile duct region, you can see that there is this dilated tubular structure measuring 1.7 centimeters. Again, when we add color Doppler flow, we can see there's no flow within this structure, confirming that it does not represent the main portal vein. And do you see a cause for that obstruction on these images? There's an echogenic rounded shadowing focus in the more distal common bile duct, representing an obstructing choledocolith. Real-time imaging can help confirm the presence of these stones, and we can see that there's that stone in the distal common bile duct with post-acoustic shadowing, the dilated common bile duct, and then there's the gallbladder again, containing some gallstones and sludge. So choledocholithiasis, again, is stones within the common bile duct, the CBD. And it's seen in up to 15% of patients that have cholelithiasis, which are gallstones. Clinically, these patients may present without any symptoms, but often there's a history of biliary colic. They may have cholangitis, which is infection and inflammation of the bile ducts, particularly if this is a long-standing obstruction. Choledocholithiasis is a common cause for pancreatitis, and jaundice can also occur due to the bile duct obstruction. On ultrasound, we'll typically see an echogenic rounded stone in the common bile duct. Shadowing of these stones is usually not as common or pronounced as we'll see with stones in the gallbladder, and in that case, twinkling artifact may help, although not seen in this case. And for CBD dilatation, generally we define that as greater than 6 millimeters, but we allow for an additional millimeter per decade of life above 60, meaning an 80-year-old could have an 8 millimeter duct considered normal. Also, after cholecystectomy, there's normally some physiologic post-cholecystectomy ductal ectasia or reservoir effect that can get up to at least 10 millimeters, but that can be variable depending on the clinical situation. If the obstruction is severe, as in this case, we may also see intrahepatic dilatation. And since the gallbladder is usually the source of these stones, it's common to have associated cholelithiasis identified on imaging. Now, ultrasound isn't terribly sensitive for detecting stones in the duct. The sensitivity is only about 40%, but ultrasound is extremely accurate for detecting dilatation of the common bile duct. So at the very least, we'll usually see ductal dilatation in the setting of choledocholithiasis. If we don't see an obstructing stone and there's a high suspicion for choledocholithiasis, that's where MRCP can be considered, which is more sensitive for CBD stone detection. In addition to the clinical presentation, abnormal lab values can help point towards choledocholithiasis. Typically, those with the highest specificity would be elevated serum bilirubin, and to a lesser extent, elevated alkaline phosphatase, or ALP, and gamma-glutamyl transferase, GGT. AST and ALT can also be elevated, but those are usually less specific, and it's important to keep in mind that LFTs, liver function tests, may be normal in the setting of choledocholithiasis. Treatment may involve ERCP, which is endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography, and I'll show you an example of that momentarily. That's often followed by a laparoscopic cholecystectomy. Alternatively, during cholecystectomy, an intraoperative cholangiogram may be performed, where contrast material is injected into the biliary tree to detect any stones. So this patient went on to have an ERCP. Here's the endoscope. We're in the right upper quadrant here. And this is the dilated common bile duct with the filling defect representing the stone. A wire has been inserted beyond the stone. The patient subsequently had a sphincterotomy, and that stone was extracted, also with some purulent drainage. The filling defect is no longer present in the common bile duct, and the remaining biliary tree is now opacified with injected contrast. Let's look at the next case. This was a patient around the age of 20 presenting with right upper quadrant abdominal pain. And here we're looking at a transverse view of the pancreas. We can see the pancreatic body here and part of the tail. There's the splenic vein coming into the portal confluence. We could even see a bit of the superior mesenteric artery overlying the aorta. Do you see any structure that would clue you into the potential for common bile duct obstruction? Here we see the dilated common bile duct in the pancreatic head. At the level of the head, it's often posteriorly located relative to the anterior position gastroduodenal artery, which we can also often see on this transverse view. And as we scan up closer towards the gallbladder, we can again see that dilated common bile duct and adjacent pancreatic head. And note in the gallbladder, we have multiple stones with posterior acoustic shadowing. So now we want to more comprehensively evaluate this common bile duct. Let's turn on that on long axis and note that we have a dilated duct extending down towards the pancreas. And that duct measures 1.3 centimeters, which would be abnormally dilated in a patient of this age. And do you see a potential cause for that obstruction at the distal aspect of the duct? There's this little echogenic 5 millimeter shadowing focus here representing an obstructing choledocolith. Once again, a cine image can be helpful to prove to yourself that there is indeed an echogenic shadowing obstructing stone there, as we see here. And this case is just a reminder to use that transverse view of the pancreas to clue you in of possible biliary ductal dilatation. Sometimes you can even see a stone there in the pancreatic head on that transverse view. All right, let's look at the final case. So this was a patient in her 70s presenting with intermittent right upper quadrant pain. Here we're looking at the common bile duct, which measures 7 millimeters. Is that abnormal? No, that would be normal, but we do see that the gallbladder contains multiple gallstones, so that could be a cause for the intermittent right upper quadrant pain, these gallstones. But let's look further at the common bile duct. Here's the main portal vein, there's the common bile duct. Do you notice anything in the duct? Yes, there's an echogenic shadowing choledocolith there, but there are also 2 additional filling defects representing multiple choledocoliths. And when we look at the patient's CT scan, this is a coronal reformat of the right upper quadrant with contrast. Can you see those stones there? Yes, we can actually see these same 3 stones stacked up in the common bile duct. Here's the gallbladder. So it's important to keep in mind that multiple stones may be present in the common bile duct. So when you find one, keep looking for 2 or even 3, as in this case. And also the CBD may be normal in diameter, particularly if there is intermittent obstruction of the biliary tree occurring. CT has reduced sensitivity for detecting choledocholithiasis. Only about 15 to 20% of gallstones will be visible on CT, but the sensitivity is still high enough that it's important to evaluate for this possibility. When reviewing CT, we can also see in this case, the patient does have a few gallstones that are visible on CT. Calcified gallstones will typically be the most visible, but even pigmented stones can be visible depending on the density of the surrounding bile. All right, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you found this educational. Thank you to our sponsor, Samsung Ultrasound. If you like this lecture, a great way to support us is to subscribe to the video podcast on Apple or Spotify, or by clicking the YouTube subscribe button. To see bonus teaching material posted throughout the week, follow us on social media. Links are in the show notes, or click the YouTube Posts tab. Until next time, radiology is life.